Hi, good morning. I would just like to tell you, the market size for Aqua Strike is in billions of dollars. Actually, it's very difficult to estimate the exact numbers because it's a mass consumption product. So I can tell you there are two main markets for it. One is the government bodies who are already using the BTI and the abate, which are the toxic mosquito controllers, and they are using it in the water. And the second is the foundations. Foundation like Bill Gates Foundation, ADB Foundation, they fund and finance and carry out the social responsibilities worldwide. Just to mention, the funding from these foundations itself in per year, it's $2 billion roughly. So that's the number which I can give you. Right now, what we have been doing is we have been selling it in Singapore, in Malaysia. We have the approvals in Singapore, in Malaysia.
How much does it account for your revenue right now, Sanjay?
Right now, it's very low. Let me say it's 22,000 liters what we are selling now. That should not be.
How much does that mean in terms of money?
Let's say 1% right now, something like that.
Okay.
But the point is we are selling it right now to the housekeeping companies in Singapore. They go and service the residential places, clean the water tanks, fish ponds, and the water swimming pools and all these things.
Okay.
But the major markets will be the foundation and the government bodies there.
Okay.
And we are expecting the WHO approval because all the government companies and the foundations will require the WHO approval. We are already applied. We are very close to it actually.
Okay, all right. Y'all are how close to it, Sanjay? If you could give us some details, how close are you to that particular approval that you're talking about? And currently you're dealing with governments, you said. So government of Singapore is working with y'all. Is that correct?
Not exactly. The government of Singapore is not working. They have given us the approval to sell this.
They have given approvals. So this 1%, 22 liters that you're talking about, where are you selling it currently?
It is mainly in Singapore. Recently, we started in Vietnam also from this January onwards. But these are small trial orders.
Okay.
But the most important thing is, to get into that new region and start making the government and the people more aware about all the
and WHO has given you the approval?
WHO, what happened is we applied 2 years back, then they scrapped the entire system of approval. They started a new system. We are already on the fag end of it. And they are very excited about it because this is a product which is a really non-toxic, eco-friendly mosquito life cycle controller. So that's the beauty about it.
So you can see this scaling up to how much, Sanjay? We're running a little crisp on time. So if you could tell us, currently it's only 1%,
which is about 1.5 crores.
1.5 crore, which is quite small. So what is the scale? What do you see it grow to? In FY19, what can this revenue look like coming in from this particular product? FY20, 22, you must be having a longer time horizon, right? So give us some details.
Perfect. Once upon getting the WHO approval, even if we take a 2 to 5% share of the total funding market, not the government bodies itself, it will be 400 crores. And this is a very high EBITDA margin product. I mean, it's almost 50% on sales, we can say so, for the gross margin.
You're talking about, what kind of margins are you saying? You're saying 50% gross margins?
Yeah, 50% gross margins. These are, this is the level of the margins in these kinds of businesses. And even if you target 2 to 5%, say around 400 crores of only the funding market in the world, say the Bill Gates Foundation, ADB Foundation, I'm not calculating the government businesses at the moment.
Where will you get the capacity from, Sanjay? 400 crores is what you're saying. Right now you're doing just about 1.5 crore rupees.
I know.
Right. So how do you scale this business up so far? And do you have the capacity for it? Any more money that you'll require to, get to that scale?
At the moment, we have almost 60 crores cash on the books at the moment. And recently, last quarter, we have increased our capacity from 22,000 tons to 26,000 tons. So the utilization we have is now 55% approximately. So we have the excess capacities available right now to undertake such kinds of instant bulk orders which we are anticipating.
Okay, so with the existing capacity, you're saying what kind of numbers can you do? If at 55%, you're doing around 140 crores. You're saying with the existing capacity, you could do at least 280 to around 300 crores?
It can be easily that much because the products are very expensive. These are all $20 to $25 products.
Okay.
Right now, our products are all less than 100 rupees or something like that, the average product.
Yeah. Correct.
So that easily make it to 400 crores.
All right. No. With your current capacity that you have, that you're talking about 26,000 tons is what you are talking about, right? So if you function at optimum capacity utilization levels, you can do 300 crores, correct?
It will be around 400 crores.
Around 400 crores. Okay,
Yeah.
And by when do you believe that you can do this 400 crores? By FY19 is definitely not happening. FY20 as well. I don't know whether the growth can be so much. But by when do you think that 400 crores can come in on the top line?
The main trigger for what we are waiting is the WHO approvals. Once we have that certificate on hand, then it won't take 2 quarters more than that to reach to a sizable level.
Sanjay, the WHO trigger that you're talking about, it's been happening for the last 2 years, and there are a lot of uncertainties there as well. Like you earlier said, that WHO scrapped that whole process as well. So is there a risk, and what kind of timeline can you give as far as the approval of WHO is concerned? Because there's a lot of uncertainty with this, right?
Fortunately, what happened, the IMR in Malaysia, that is the WHO collaborating center where this product has been evaluated already.
Okay.
The WHO Europe is relying on those documents to give it a push on that subject. At the same time, they are very keen about it. There is a lot of funding going on for the mosquito vector-borne diseases worldwide. So they are very much interested. I think.
So in this fiscal, you will get the WHO approval?
Not more than, let's say, on a longer period, say 2 to 3 months. This is what we are.
So FY19, you're telling all your investors, you're telling our viewers out there that you're expecting to get this approval in FY19 for sure. Correct? That's your expectation.
That's for sure.
That's your expectation. Great. Let's move on then. We've spent a good bit on this. Tell us, your promoter stake is at around 72.5%, and you just said you have 60 crores of cash in your books. That's nearly 10% of your current market capitalization. Do you plan on, creeping up a tad bit more? If things are going to look so good, do you want to take your stake to 75%? And what do you want to do with that 60 crores? You have done a buyback in the past, I think.
Yeah, last year we did a buyback.
Last year. So will you do another buyback this year? Are you looking to shrink the equity base, or do you want to keep that with you?
Well, there are topics going on in the board about these things. There is no exact clarity about it right now.
Okay.
But yes, going forward, I think that should be a good idea, a good way to give it back to the investors.
Okay, and the promoter stake, because it's increased from what, 70.2 to about 72.5 in the last 5 years. Do you think you will increase it going forward? Especially the stock price has corrected about 50% from its peak?
Last 5 years, we have increased our promoter stake from 62% to 72.4%. So that's the process which we are every year always increasing our promoter stake.
Okay.
So we will be considering that also. And at the same time, for the buyback, it's already been discussed in the board. But there is no clarity. It will be discussed in the next board meeting also.
All right, Sanjay, very quickly, give us some guidance for the next year. The past year, you did only around 5-6% growth on the top line. You did margins of around 21%. What are you telling your investors for this year? Can we see a double-digit growth for this year?
Actually, I would like to tell you the standalone growth has been 25%. There has been a standalone growth of 22% in the standalone books itself.
Yeah, console.
And on the IGAP basis. On console, it has gone 8% only.
Yeah.
Because there were some changes in the foreign currencies and other things as well.
So for the coming year, Sanjay?
Definitely. We have been, for the last 6 years, in the last 7 years, we have gone 29% CAGR growth always. So this year has not been so, let's say,
so by FY19, what kind of revenue growth are we looking at?
At least 15% from now.
15% is what you're looking at. Margins will hold at around 21%?
Yeah, that is almost minimum should be that much in spite of our great promotional activities going on.
Okay.